Hi folks, welcome to Set Apart Homestead. This is Travis. It's a beautiful sunny day, but it's one of those really cold ones. Kind of like it when it's like this. You have the nice sun in your face, but it's nice and bristly cold, so it's a good kind of day, I think. Anyways, so what I want to talk today about is what to do immediately after a major emergency. What are some of the things that you need to put in place in your plan to do immediately after something happens? Now, what I have come up with is just some 10 ideas that should be kind of in your plan for something to do immediately afterwards. This is kind of from the point of view of it being a major emergency, a major SHTF, but it could definitely work and be applicable to more of a regional natural disaster, or even like say weather-related emergencies, snowstorm, blizzards, hurricanes, tornadoes, things like that. So it's not just for the apocalypse has happened. It can apply to a lot of things. And remember this, and this applies to anything in your preparedness plan, it needs to be fluid. It needs to be able to be fluid. Don't get so focused on following it absolutely to the T, because everything is different. Every situation, every location, every person, things change, and things can change rapidly. So you need to be able to adapt and improvise very quickly, because it may not work out exactly as planned. A plan is to kind of give you something to go by, but things may change, and they may not fall in the order that you had planned them to fall into. So and that applies to this. And this is just an idea to kind of get you started, and I'm sure there's many other things that you could add to this, and I encourage you to add those in the comments if you have some ideas of other things that you should be doing immediately after something's happened, or when you become aware that the doo-doo has hit the fan. The first thing that I would do is get home or get to your bug out location or your rendezvous point. We won't have the luxury, most of us, of just everyone in the family sitting around and just waiting for something to happen. Most people lead busy lives, and you've got spouses that work, kids that go to school, kids that may still be living at home that are older and they have jobs, or they're out with friends, or whatever it may be. And the main thing is that when something happens, everybody needs to get home or to get to whatever location that has been established ahead of time that you need to get to. An idea that you might try is establishing, and you need to talk to your family about this, how the importance of understanding that if something happens, then when it becomes apparent that it is serious, the highest priority is to get to whatever rendezvous point or to get home. You need to do that immediately. And so an idea that you might try is establishing a code word with your family, and that they have the understanding that when that code word is given, it means it's serious. It means that it's not a drill. It is something that needs to happen immediately. So that's something that you can text, or you can call on a cell phone, something like that. Now, of course, I know many of you saying, well, what if those things don't work? Then you need to try to have some type of plan in place to gather them up. Because I know for most of us, or all of us, hopefully, family people, your first priority is to be worrying about your family, that you got them all together before anything moves much further. You want to ensure their safety and know where they're at. So come up with a plan to get everyone home, and a plan to enact that action of getting everyone home. Next is establish communication, and this is part of the first one, but it's not just establishing communication with your family, but see what communication is going on with the outside world. Listen to the radio, internet if you still have it, TV, that type of thing. Everyone should have small radios in their bug out or their preparedness equipment, Shortwave radios are great, ham radios, that sort of thing, so that you can see what actually is going on. Try to figure out exactly what's going on to the best of your ability, and try to figure out, how severe this is, what is going on. If it's a blizzard, what exactly they're predicting, where it's coming from, if it's nuclear threat or an actual detonation. Try to figure out, if you can, where it's at, any information that's going on. So do your best. And I know everyone's always saying, well, there may not, electricity may not work. In most SHTF scenarios, electrical devices and stuff will work. Now, of course, EMP, CME, nuclear attack, those could change, but even then, in those situations, you may not be affected by that. So there's always a good chance that electrical devices will work, at least for a little while. So do your best to try to come up with what's going on, so that you've got some information. Gather information, establishing communication as best as you can to figure out what is going on. Fill all reservoirs with water. Now remember, unless of course you're single, if you have a family, a spouse, and kids, a lot of these things can be done at the same time. So you can, kind of ahead of time establish, your job's going to be to do this, your job's to do this, so that, a lot of these things are happening together. So as soon as something happens in your home, in your home, start filling everything that you can with water. Fill up bathtubs, any kind of extra jugs that you have. Sure, you should already be storing water, but it does not hurt, because you don't know how much longer your water service is going to work. It may not be working in the beginning, but odds are you could have water service for at least a while. So start filling everything you can with water. That way you've got an extra water to get things started. And bathtubs are great because, well, they hold a lot of water. Fill up tanks and other gas cans immediately if it's become apparent that this is serious. Even if it's like tornadoes, hurricanes, snowstorms, things like that, get to the first place to hit is the gas station. If it's in your area, and I understand, each situation's different. You may not want to drive 45 minutes to a gas station if you're that far away, but if you're on your way home, and you see a gas station that's open and it doesn't have a 5-hour wait, pull in there and fill up, top it off, that sort of thing, so that you've got filled tanks if it's at all possible. Start barricading your location. Now, I'm not talking about setting up turrets in the front yard and that sort of thing. But depending on what's going on, if it is say like a hurricane or tornado, you may want to immediately start, putting plywood up over the windows. Some of the barricading could be done on the inside, putting the plywood on the inside, putting, sandbags or anything like that you may already have, in your plan at different doors and windows. Whatever it is, maybe it's, if you think this could be something chemical or biological, you may be taping up windows. Whatever it is, start doing that. If you need to bug out, do it quickly. Now I talk about this often, that bugging out should not be your first priority. And if that is your first priority, if that is your first thing on your plan is to bug out, you need to rethink that plan. But that being said, there are some scenarios where bugging out immediately is necessary. Maybe it's a volcanic eruption near you. Maybe it's a hurricane that's headed directly at you. Or even tornadoes that are headed directly at you, and you don't have the facilities or the home that is safe enough to hunker down in your home, and you know that you need to leave. Whatever, if it is in the plan, if you've thought this through and said, okay, these are the things that would cause me to immediately bug out. If it's any one of those, you need to bug out quickly. Because the longer you wait, the more people that are going to start doing that, and then you're going to get into, these hours and hours long of traffic and masses of people. So the quicker you can get to bug out, that's potentially the less people that you will have to deal with as you're leaving your area. Don't wait several hours when everyone else has finally gathered up all their stuff and they finally also decided, well, I guess it's time to bug out. If you know that it's something that you need to bug out for, do it quickly to avoid, if at all possible, avoid people. Stay calm. I know that sounds crazy. None of us have experienced an apocalyptic SHTF, but many of us have experienced, the smaller ones. And even though it's very easy for us to become extremely excited and agitated and fearful and all this, you need to do your best to stay calm. For those of you that have gone through some type of military training, combat training, you will know that staying calm is one of the best things you can do. It keeps your wits about you. If you have a family, wife, and especially children, staying calm is going to work really, well to help keep them calm so that they're not panicking. You don't want to do, as much as possible. You want to keep from causing panic to your children and those around you. It will make whatever you're doing much easier, and it doesn't add any unnecessary stress to their minds, because they're going to be terrified if something's going on, and they're not able to handle that type of fear the same way that you or I can, being that we're adults and have more life experience. So do your best to stay calm. If you're family that prays, that would be a good time to stop and pray. Doing that a lot of times is very calming. And of course, there's also, the spiritual power that comes with that. But even if you're not a religious family, it would be a good time to stop and pray with your family, because it does have a very calming effect. And of course, there's other benefits. Bring as little attention to you as possible. Try to blend in. Now, this can look very differently for different things. If everyone else is frantic and running around and you're just like, yeah, I'm good, I got this, that could bring attention to you. Then again, if everyone's frantic and they see you, carrying armloads of guns into your house or into your car, or going out to the shed and pulling out, buckets of food and stuff, that could bring attention to you. Or, I've seen, comical videos, something like this happening. You run in the house and you come out and you're full camo geared out, and your vest and, helmet and everything. Don't bring attention to yourself while this is going on, because the people around you, even though they're in a frantic panic, they're going to notice that, and they'll remember, hey, that guy, he had all kinds of stuff. And then there'll also be government people, most likely, that will be watching, and so do your best to not bring a lot of attention to yourself when this is happening. Try to blend in as best as possible. Secure important items. This really should be done already. Important documents, paperwork, cash money, precious metals, anything that you might have, whether it's specifically for, prepping in SHTF, or if it's just important things in your daily life, birth certificates, deeds to property, titles, things like that. They really should be secured, and if not, maybe you have them in a few different places, gather them and get them secured, and have them ready in case you do need to bug out, so that you can take them with you. And then kind of the last thing is just go over the plan with your family. After this has happened, maybe you've got these things and everyone's home and they're settled down. Start talking to them about it. Say, okay, now guys, now remember, we're gonna stick together, we're gonna be calm. Bobby, you need to, you're the lookout guy, and Mom, you need to start, going over the food and checking what we have, and pulling out the food plan, and kind of giving everybody their job, and do it in a calm way, to kind of go over and remind them the things that you've already talked about, which you should be doing, and trained with your family. about what to do in this situation. So kind of go over it with them. It'll help calm them. They'll remind them, oh yeah, we've done this, we've practiced for this, we've talked about this, we have a plan, we have things in place, and that'll help calm them down also. So start talking about that plan with them. So anyways, these are my top 10 things, and I encourage you to add to this list in the comments. Like I said, this is not the end-all be-all list. These are just things that I think would be very important to do immediately after something happens. And I think this list could be, you know, tweaked to work for something big and apocalyptic, and it could also work for something, you know, more local, regional, you know, emergencies that you might face, you know, on a more regular basis. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.